Nah, y'all can do better. It's good, family. How y'all feeling? Oh my goodness, I am Ariel Potter, and I'm so glad to have you here in the building. Welcome to Get in the Building. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Listen, this ain't on my script, but I want to know who's in the building. Okay, okay, okay. Who we got in the front here? Who we got in the front? Who? Okay, middle. What you got? What you got? Middle. Monroe. Okay. Who's in the back? Who's in the back? Okay. What we got over here? Who's over here? Who's over here? Okay. Keep going. Keep going. Who's back there? What's going on? I think they won. I don't know about y'all, but I think they won. All right. All right. All right. Again, this is Get in the Game here at the Strong National Museum of Play. We want to give a special thanks to Take Two Interactive for their sponsorship. All right, all right. Y'all ready to get into it? Wait. Are you ready to get into it? Because I'm going to need everybody's attention. It's going to be an attentive day, so I need everybody's attention. We are so glad to have you here. Today, we have crafted a program to give you as much information as we can about many possible professions in gaming. We hope that you leave knowing more about yourself and your desires in the future. We've got a few things we've got the breakout sessions. We've got my game brainstorming session. You're going to do lunch there as well. We've got video game maker fair and free video game play throughout the museum. Wait. I need to say that last one again. Free video game play throughout the museum. Excellent, excellent. And you will get a chance to do all three. Your chaperones will tell you when and where. But before we do that, we've got some housekeeping to do. The exits are the same thing that you came into. So look behind you. There's an exit back there. And if need be, there's an exit over here. The closest restrooms are going to be out that door and to your right next to the food court. But before we move on, I have some good news. Y'all want to know what it is? I don't know if y'all want to know. Do you want to know what it is? All right, listen, we've got this lovely Nintendo Switch to give away. Can I get an ooh? Can I get an ah? Oh yeah, oh yeah. One of our speakers has so graciously donated this video Switch. But before you can get the Switch, there's one thing you got to do. You got to pay attention. You got to listen, all right? Because there will be one word that all of our speakers will be saying today. You've got to know that word because we're going to play a game later. And if you don't get that word right, you're not going to get this Switch. All right, so I need everyone to pay attention because there's one word that you're going to be looking for now that we've got everything out of the way. Are you ready to get in the game? Listen, my voice was a lot louder than yours. Can we try that one more time? Are you ready to get in the game? All right, let's get into it. Let's get into it. We got our first speaker, head of strategic programming and creator marketing at YouTube. Can I get an ooh? Can I get an ah? Put your hands together for Elizabeth Devayo.
Good morning. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I am, yes. Everyone had coffee. Do you guys drink coffee? No, good. Coffee is bad for you. Don't drink coffee. But hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really, really excited to be spending the morning with all of you today and be back here at the Museum of Play. And today I'm going to be sharing a little bit with you about how my love and passion for video games has been the key to help me unlock many achievements and rewards in my life over the past couple of years. So a little bit about myself. I am from the Dominican Republic, and it's nice and warm down there. And I moved here with my entire family when I was 20 years old, and we landed here in Rochester. And I always think about all the things that I used to do when I lived back in the DR. And growing up, I was always surrounded by creativity and a love for gaming. From playing Mario with my brother at the neighborhood video games cafe to Dance Revolution at the mall with friends, gaming was always a big part of my life and something that I always look forward to. But it wasn't until my college years, right here in Rochester, that my passion for gaming started opening doors for me, and it helped me figure it out and inspire me to know what I needed to do next. In fact, I secretly believe that my time in college was key to help me discover that I truly wanted to pursue a career in tech and entertainment and later on in gaming. It all started at RIT, the Rochester Institute of Technology, where I studied marketing and international relations. And I was actually part of this program called McNair Scholars Program, which is a program for low income and first generation students from underrepresented backgrounds. I spent 2 years paired with the faculty, and I studied consumer behavior and marketing and entertainment. And I first focused on doing research on PlayStation and a new metaverse world that existed at a time called Second Life. That experience as a student truly inspired me to learn more about working in games. So right after RIT, I stayed right here in town, and I went to the University of Rochester for my master's. And months into the program, I applied to compete with other students in designing a marketing campaign for guess who? Sony, the makers of PlayStation. I got to travel to California, compete, and for the first time, I was able to put into practice all of the things that I learned, not only about PlayStation as a company, their products, their IPs, but also everything that I had studied in terms of marketing. And at that moment, I knew my relationship and this love for gaming was a real thing. And I know that this love was long in the making, and I knew I needed to have a relationship with the field and with people in it. So since that case competition, I dreamed about having a job at PlayStation, and I spent a lot of time. I was very committed. I spent every day thinking about what did I needed to do to get a job there. And I spent a lot of time just truly practicing how to interview, especially for me, someone who has a second language. Sometimes I struggle with like, am I saying the right things in the right way? So I spent a lot of time truly understanding what did I needed to do to pass those interviews. And it happened that months later, I landed a job at PlayStation. So I moved to California, and I got to work on really, really exciting projects. This was a job I never thought someone like me could have. I never had anyone that looked like me or came from my country that had a job in a big company like this. And it was a job that also made my brother very proud, because he still today plays lots of games. And this was a job he was proud of. It was a job that actually brought us even closer together, because from that day on, we go back to play video games just like we used to do when I lived back in the Dominican Republic. At PlayStation, I fell in love with all the new characters, and I was working in the team responsible for building the demos. So if you go to a Walmart or to a Target, you might see, you might be able to play games. You can see like how the controllers feel. So I would be in that team building the actual displays and the demos inside of them. But PlayStation was just the beginning. I joined Google back in 2014, and I spent years working on entertainment for mobile devices. And because, in case you don't know, everyone plays games on their phones, and there are more than 2.6 billion people that play games on their phones today. So I walked back into this new magic chest where I was able to work back in gaming. I was working with many game developers in figuring out marketing campaigns to bring their audiences back to the Play Store. So I had a chance to work on games like FIFA, Star Wars, Galaxy of Heroes, Real Racing 3, Madden, Plants vs. Zombies, and the one that I play every single day, Clash Royale. Any of you play Clash Royale? Yeah, good. And all these moments in my life, my research project at RIT, the time that I spent at the University of Rochester in that case competition, my time at PlayStation, and working on mobile games on the Google Play platform took me to where I am today, which is a really, really fun job working with content creators for YouTube. And at YouTube, I get to build exciting experiences for gamers and content creators themselves. So anyone that is helping us to learn something new, that is teaching us how to unlock new levels or new skins in the games we love and play. And here are some examples of some of the fun stuff that I got to do. I've done a lot of fun things where we have Mr. Beast, in case you guys know who he is. And it's just been really nice to see these content creators grow on the platform. So from PlayStation to Google Play and now at YouTube, my love for gaming has opened so many doors for me and has allowed me to build a community. Gaming for me has been more than just a pastime and more than just a job. Video games has really helped me connect with people. It has taught me new skills and has given me a sense of belonging. And for someone like me who immigrated to a new country, who moved to this new city that had to learn a new language when I was 20 years old, that sense of belonging is something that I'm always looking for. So whether you're a mobile gamer like myself, who love Clash Royale, a console enthusiast, or someone who wants to be a streamer like Ninja or any of those big streamers, know that gaming can lead you down a path of limitless possibilities, and your passion and love for games can be the magic key to help you unlock endless worlds in college, in high school, in your lives, within your families, and within your communities. Thank you so much.
One more time for Elizabeth Devalle. Outstanding stuff, outstanding stuff. Now, you folks have an opportunity to ask her a few questions. Now, we've got some friends in the audience with a microphone that will be, well, actually, I think I took their microphone. So I might be coming myself, but she's going to answer your questions. We've got one mic set up over here if you want to just come on down and ask your questions yourself, but also we've got a mic that's going to be roaming the crowd, ready to answer your raised hands. All right, you ready? Oh, we've got two already. Dang, okay.
I'm not on. Oh, there we are. All right, ready?
Yeah.
Excuse me, miss. What's your favorite PlayStation game?
Resident Evil, all of them. Oh, why? I love storytelling. I like that it's scary. It's like watching a movie, but you get to be the one driving everything happening in that story. So it's a really fun. I'm excited to play Resident Evil 4. I've been watching some videos. There's this content creator called Jassy Guns, and she's been playing it on YouTube. So I need to watch a little bit of that. What's your name and what schools you go to? Oh, I think the mic is off.
Yeah. Excuse me. Do you play Minecraft? Oh,
Hello.
my name's Antonio.
My name is Jeremiah. I'm from school 3. Did you feel nervous when you did your YouTube channel?
I have a YouTube channel. I don't use it, but I do work at YouTube. So I actually work where all of the things that you see on YouTube are happening. But I have a YouTube channel, and to answer the question, yes. But the good thing, I was very nervous. I was very nervous playing whatever I was playing. Actually, Clash Royale with some creators. But what I would say about just being a creator, whether it's on a platform or if you're into music or art or anything, I think there's always gonna be that moment of feeling nervous. And if you do that, I think that means that you're in the right path. And it's all about just getting organized, knowing what you want your audience to take away, whether if you're playing a game or if you are playing music on really any platform. I think it's just about getting excited and making sure that you're creating stories that get whoever you want it to watch be excited. Sure.
All right, I got one over here.
They're on the back.
Hello, my name is Jessica. I'm from School 45, and my question is, who was the best content creator that you worked with during YouTube?
So many of them. I like working with, Creekcraft. Yeah, he plays Roblox, and then I really love It's Funny. She also plays a lot of Roblox, and she's from the other side in Canada, and this creator that I really like is Jassy Gun. So if you guys are into things like Resident Evil story games, she's one of my favorite. They're all my favorite. I love them all. Thank you. Have fun today.
All right. Good stuff, right? Did y'all like that? Okay, great. Okay, because listen, we've got more for you. Are you ready? Let's see if our friend can come in live via satellite. I don't know if that's the right way to say that anymore. Probably. He will be tomorrow. The CEO of Working Man Interactive and the person who gave us this switch to give to you, Roy Contreras.
Good morning, everybody. So yeah, that's a trailer of our company, Working Man Interactive. Once again, I'm Roy Contreras. I'm the CEO of Working Man Interactive. Thank you again for everybody for having me, and thank you again for the Strong Museum for having me as well. So here, sorry, did I hear somebody? Okay, I'll keep going.
Hey,
Okay.
Roy, how you doing, buddy? Could you start
Yep.
from the top? We missed it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. So I'm Roy Contreras. I'm the CEO of Working Man Interactive. We're a game studio here in Rochester, New York. So for example, companies like you've seen in the reel, such as Nickelodeon, Disney, Sesame Street, most of those companies, they don't make games internally. They hire game studios like ours from all around the world in order to make video games, right? So game studios like ours have game programmers, game artists, project managers, game designers, all these professionals in order to do everything possible in the game's production process, to make a game. So if you've ever played games ever back in the day, I'm gonna say back in the day, a couple of years ago, on Nick.com or on Nick Jr. as kids, or on Disney.com, the Disney app, or the Sesame Street app, etc. More likely than not, you've come across one of the games that we made. For example, we're most famously known for making the Super Brawl franchise series and teaming up with the Nickelodeon team. On that. So if you played any of those games, that was made right here in Rochester by a team of 40 here. So a little bit about myself. So I graduated Fordham University, and I'm Bronx Science. So I was born and raised in New York City, in Washington Heights, to Dominican and Mexican immigrants. My parents were factory workers. My mom, for a living for many years, she made purses, and my dad made belt buckles for his entire career. And living in Washington Heights, it was pretty rough, right? I was surrounded by drugs. My uncles and cousins were locked up. My mom was held up at gunpoint. I was mugged, and it was pretty tough, right? But games was my shining light, right? As a kid, I got my first ever system when I was around, I want to say 3, 4, 5 years old, that, I can remember at a garage sale. This was back in the day when there was like no eBay or any e-commerce sites. We would go to, New Jersey, go to somebody's backyard that they were selling stuff. And then I got a ColecoVision system, and I fell in love with, games like Donkey Kong or Popeye, games that you maybe see in the retro arcades, these days. And, from there, my parents just motivated me. They were like, look, you do well in school, you get a brand new game. So that's what I did. And you do well for the entire year, you get a brand new system. So I went up the list, getting, Nintendo to the Sega Genesis, to a PlayStation and all the, different systems, throughout those times. And, I was able to get straight A's. And if there's anything that I want you to take away from this talk is, I think the two keys that I've learned, throughout school, what I've been successful and also at work is that I always listened and I participated, right? Listening is a skill, right? Being able to attentively listen to somebody and not necessarily think about what are you going to say next and hearing about what they're telling you. That's a skill in the game's production process when you're throwing around ideas as far as what the next idea is or what the smallest game mechanic tweak can be made is really listening to that and then participate in that conversation. For example, in school, I always sat in the front of the class, right? Because you can't hide yourself if you're sitting in front. The teacher's always going to see you. And, if you're looking down or some reason or whatnot, they're going to call on you. So I was always a participant in class. Even at work during meetings, I never stood off to the side. I sat right at the table and always participated in the conversation. And it always made time, go by faster. And I always learned a lot more. So being listening and participating, really helped me out, through my career. Then, in high school, I started playing a whole bunch of different games with the evolution of Blockbuster, video. I know I'm dating myself a bit, but that's how we used to rent games. My family and I, we couldn't really afford, to buy many games, but going to Blockbuster, renting a game for $5, you used to do that. And we used to walk all the way from our local Blockbuster to Washington Heights to 100 blocks, all the way down to Times Square, just walk. If they didn't have some of my favorite games like GoldenEye, which is getting inducted into the Strong, Hall of Fame this year. WWE No Mercy. I was a big WWE fan. Power Stone and a lot of games, like that. And then, once I, went to school, my brother was an engineer. And he encouraged me, if you want to make money, be an engineer, be a doctor, be a lawyer, all these great professions, that you're usually told. But I was just never any good, at, math or science. And I learned in college that you can actually, take classes that specialize in TVs, movies, and even video games. And I was like, sign me up. I get to go to a class and watch movies and learn about TV history, like sign me up. And, I got a communications degree, not necessarily knowing exactly where that was going to take me. I didn't have things figured out in college. And then once I graduated, at the time I was playing this game called World of Warcraft, right? And I was hugely into that game, hardcore. I happened to join on an Australian server. And as you know, with, Australia, they're kind of like opposite times from us. So I used to stay up in the wee hours of the night. And I was interning during a time for MTV for a show called TRL, at the time. And when I did that, they actually offered me a job, right after, like, hey, come work with us. But I had a doctor appointment scheduled on the same day I was supposed to start because my neck really hurt from playing too much of World of Warcraft. So I told them, hey, I made some sort of excuse or whatnot. I didn't take advantage of that opportunity that presented itself. So I told them an excuse I could start the next week after that. Turns out that they hired another person that could start that week. And then my neck ended up being okay from playing World of Warcraft. And there went that, right? But a couple of months later, Nickelodeon, started hiring for a games production assistant. I showed my manager at the time, Sean McAvoy, and, told him, I'm like, hey, I run this guild in World of Warcraft. Look at this site that I made and that I coded because I learned how to do that, during, college. And he was like, wow, you run a guild of 50, plus people in World of Warcraft, sign me up. And then from there, the rest is history when it came to, my Nickelodeon career. So, definitely, being a part of games, I never thought that it could be something that you could make a career out of, right? Because it's video games, right? It's just you're always told do something serious, with, your career. But if you have a passion for something, pursue it. I always had a passion for gaming. And then, before you knew it, there were a lot of different avenues for it. Now there's a whole museum of play. There's a lot of different, colleges, just like, RIT, with their, magic program here that specialize in video games, that you can go ahead and, pursue a career in a whole bunch of different, fields, about that. And definitely one thing, and I want to say to you guys, I was inspired by my, parents, because they worked so hard. I didn't have it easy, they didn't have it easy and stuff, as I mentioned before, but I was able to, rise up and become a CEO of a game studio that works with world-renowned companies like Marvel, Star Wars, Nickelodeon, Amazon, and etc. So definitely, listen, participate and pursue your passion, especially if your passion is in video gaming. There's a lot of different fields and there's so many opportunities all around the world to do so. Thank you.
Roy Contreras, doing great work over there. We want to thank you so much for being here with us. We also have a few questions on the floor if we can, folks. Anyone got any questions? Oh, right off the bat, come on.
All right.
Tell Roy who you are.
My name is Tommy Johnson. I just had a question for you. You said you used to watch WWE when you was younger, right?
Yep, still do. I'm looking forward to WrestleMania this Saturday and Sunday.
That was my question. Are you gonna watch WrestleMania? Because I am.
As a matter of fact, I am. And, one of the things that I've been afforded to do, through my career is not only do I watch it, but I travel to WrestleMania every year. So, there's that uptick in being able to, be successful throughout your career. So yes, definitely am.
Wonderful.
Great question. We've got another one over here. Red sweater. All right.
My name's G, and I was wondering if you had any student internships.
We have co-ops, yeah. So, paid co-ops. So actually a lot of I want to say like about half of our game studios have come locally from Rochester, either by the University of Rochester or RIT. So they usually have started with co-ops, learning under our senior developers or our senior artists, and then we hire them on full time. So yes.
What about for high school?
High school, we don't. I don't know if that has to do with anything that comes by law as far as us hiring a certain age or whatnot, but typically we don't. Typically, I want to say, and in my experience, even at Nickelodeon and Amazon Games, we start hiring interns, I want to say, during junior or senior level of college.
All right, we've got another question in the back here.
Hi, my name is Omaria. I got a question. Who is your favorite WWE player?
My favorite WWE player?
Yes.
So here's a quick tidbit, right? One thing that I've learned when asking folks, and this is about being listening and in conversation with folks. I love to talk to folks, right? Like, I don't know if you could tell, I could talk to a wall, right? When I ask folks like, hey, what's your favorite? It makes folks really think like, oh man, usually I rephrase like, what's the first video game that comes to mind? Or what's the first this that comes to mind, right? And the first wrestling player that comes to mind back in the day to play with was my created wrestler. I called him Mr. Good, but if you want like an actually known wrestler, I would say Hollywood Hogan. But now I want to say it's John Cena. John Cena is, my favorite wrestler. And, nowadays, it's going to be Roman Reigns. I acknowledge the tribal chief.
I have a question on that, buddy. What system did you make that player?
N64.
Of course. All right, we've got one more question for you and we'll let you go, buddy.
Excuse me. My name is Dyson. I want to ask, how was it like going through your career? Was it hard?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
How was it like going through your career?
How was it like going through my career? It was fun. Working in video games, it's fun, right? Because I remember Nickelodeon, we used to do this franchise called the New Game of the Week. So we would create a brand new game of the week. And this was a 2-person team at Nickelodeon, right? that would work on this. So a lot of my day was actually spent playing the video games, right? And coming up with the different ideas. So think about it, right? You're giving these great IPs when you work with these great companies, right? Like I grew up watching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I grew up watching Power Rangers, right? And you have the ability to now come up with the idea. I remember watching both of them. I'm like, let's make a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles versus a Power Ranger games, or even Avatar: The Last Airbender, and just working with, you know, great IPs like that, Raving Rabbids, even something like iCarly, being able to come up with these ideas, play these games. It was a lot of fun, honestly. That's why, you know, I love video games, especially if it comes naturally to you, because you know, one thing that you have an advantage if you play video games over, and that's just something that you do, you're able to talk about it and be able to say certain things like, yeah, I know the Konami code, or like, yeah, Roblox, or you know, or I know I've done this game and that game. A lot of folks don't know that, right? So being able to do something that comes so naturally to you and you're so passionate about, and something as fun as games, it was just a lot of fun.
All right, thank you so much, Roy.
Sure thing. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Before we move on, I got to do a spirit check real quick. So I'm going to break you up in half. All right. I want to see who's got the most spirit so far. On this side, make some noise. They sound asleep. They sound asleep, right? Wait. Can I see what y'all doing over here? Can I get some energy over here? I'm going to give y'all a chance to redeem yourself. One more time. Ready? All right, in the middle. Let's see what you got. Shout out to the middle for keeping it live. Give yourselves a round of applause. All right. Before we move on, I got to do some more housekeeping. We want to provide support to students and teachers by providing extension opportunities that will allow them to continue to explore careers in gaming. So far, we have opportunities for students to participate in a free, let me say that again, free 1-week Girls Make Games camp here at the museum, available to students that participated in today's event, along with the opportunity to participate virtually in one of the Girls Make Games summer camps. Okay, this will be available on the museum website. Videos from today's keynotes will be available on the website. We also will have lesson plans upon request. We have a link to Zynga's Access All Areas interactive information about how to reach our next speaker, Keisha Howard's Game Gigs card game, and additional opportunities to participate in upcoming Get in the Game programming. All right, now that we've had a word from our sponsors, are you ready to move on? All right, this show is for you, so are you ready to move on? All right. Now, I'm bringing someone to the stage who has a lot of energy, a lot of insight, and a lot to give you. And she's in the building, so I need you to make some noise for real. Are you ready? For Keisha Howard!
All this love. Thank you. Y'all don't know who I am. Quit playing. So, all right. I don't have slides, but I want to have a conversation with all of you today. I want you to think about why you play games. What makes you play games? What makes them fun for you as an individual? Interestingly enough, my career in games, I own a company called Sugar Gamers, which I've owned since 2009. And I've been a lifelong gamer. I've been a gamer since I think I was 9 years old, which would make me a gamer of 30 years. So everything from Game Boy, Nintendo, PlayStation, Sega CD, Virtual Boy, Dreamcast, you name it, I've played it. I love games. I love play. And I love talking about games. So, but one of the things that is really interesting, a lot of people ask me, like, how did you get this job? By accident. I didn't actually think that I was going to have a career in games at all. At the time when I was going to school and I was thinking about what I wanted to do, I really didn't know. I just wanted to make my grandma proud She raised me, and I was a kid from the South Side of Chicago. My parents had some. Okay, Chicago. All right. My parents had some issues, which led to me being raised by my grandmother and my older brother. So, he always got the games. I never thought that I would get any games because, I got some dolls, but I ended up playing his games. And one of the things that made me that started that little trigger in me to pursue this, I didn't know it at the time, but it was the competition. When I finally was able to beat my older brother at Street Fighter. And I was just like, yes, victory is mine. And now, to this day, I am very competitive at gaming. But back to my point, I didn't actually know I could have a career in gaming. And it wasn't until I was it was 2008. And the real estate market had crashed. And that was my chosen career at the time. And I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't think it was going to be gaming, but I always liked games. And I had extra time to start an organization for social gamers, casual gamers, any kind of gamer who wanted to meet up, talk about games, preferably at the time, women in Chicago. And that sort of exploded into this inclusive group of not only women, but men, people from all walks of life and all demographics. And with that, it allowed me to sort of follow a pathway which made me realize that no matter what you're interested in, no matter what you're passionate about, there is something for you in the gaming industry. If you like music, if you like character design, if you like narrative, there's so many more things. A lot of kids come up to me and ask me about content creation or esports or streaming, which is one avenue of a career in gaming. But there are literally hundreds of different jobs that you can have and whatever part that you're passionate about. Whatever inspires you about the video game industry, there is something for you specifically to do. And on top of that, there is so much that you can do as a creative individual. You can have your own unique ideas. You can make your own rules. You can create your own story in this space. And it just takes ingenuity, tenaciousness, and consistency, and you'll get there. And guess what? The best part about it is you can start now. You don't have to wait until someone tells you that you can work in games. You can write a narrative for a game now. You can understand game mechanics. You can understand game theory, game design, without even having to have the technical aptitude just yet. Every job in gaming isn't even technical. So anyways, I say this to say, this journey has led me to be a subject matter expert in video games. So I've done everything from work with major companies I worked for Microsoft and Xbox and Sony and all HTC, if you guys are familiar with VR and AR, just all sorts of video game companies and everything from mobile to console to even tabletop RPGs. I get to work in these spaces and it's a very fulfilling life, except for it can be very difficult sometimes. So I hope that you're all prepared for your future careers in gaming and let me know how I can help.
My name is Masai, and I'm from Edison. And I want to know, what's your favorite video game?
Oh man, there's so many. Right now is Cyberpunk 2077. I also enjoy Dead Space. I don't have a favorite. I have so many favorites. I like this game called Darkest Dungeon. I like this game called Cult of the Lamb. I love Nintendo games like Mario Kart and Mario Party, Rocket League, Burnout. I don't know if you played these games, but Soul Calibur, Street Fighter. Anyways, I'm sorry. I have too many favorite games.
I have one more question.
Sure.
Have you met like any famous gamers or YouTubers or anything like that, or game creators?
Oh my God, you wanna ask me about that? Yes, I have more than my fair share. I've met George Lucas, Stan Lee, Ninja. Let's see. I've worked with Ninja before. I've met a whole bunch of basketball players from the NBA. But you know what? As many famous and amazing people that I've met, I'll always be like, play a game with me. And like, I don't even care. I'm just like, I know you cool. I know you famous and rich, but can you play this game real quick? So.
Have you ever played Life is Strange?
I have. I find it to be very narratively interesting and like a virtual sort of novel. I don't think that's what it's called, but those types of games are really compelling to me. I like that a lot. What else you got?
What age did you start playing games?
I want to say 7 or 8. So 1989, whenever the first Game Boy came out, it wasn't backlit. It was really hard to see.
What's the actual process of creating a game like? How long does it take? That sort of thing.
Okay, that's a great question. The process of creating a game takes some questioning of what kind of game you're creating, what system you're creating it on, what's your genre of game, what are the game mechanics, what are the characters, what's the design, what's the artistic direction. So a game can take anywhere from 2 weeks to 10 years to create, depending on what type of game, what type of budget, how big your team is, and what talent you need to execute. Give me a question.
How did you feel working at Microsoft?
Okay, that's also a great question. At the time, you know, working for a major company just felt like such a huge a goal of mine. I'm just like, finally, I've made it and I'm working for a large company. But, you know, at the end of the day, all these companies have these really interesting nuggets, these insights to offer on how games can be created. And each company has its own style, has its own sort of pathway to stand out from the rest of the gaming companies. So even though I enjoyed my time at Microsoft, I like to stay agnostic because I want to work at Sony and I want to work at Nintendo and I want to work at HTC and I want to work at all those places so I can learn all the different ways games can be made. All right.
I'm Faith, and I was wondering like what your salary was and like how much it costs to like become a game developer.
Ooh-wee, that's a very personal question, but I do not mind answering that. I am an entrepreneur, so I have bootstrapped my own business. But so salaries for me in my 14 years of being in this industry has been anywhere from $0 to 300,000. And I know you're saying, wow, but don't forget, I have a team of individuals. I don't do this by myself. So I have to have so many people that allow me to move forward in this way. There's teamwork, make the dream work. Collaboration is everything. And you have to respect the fact that if you want to do something big, more than likely, you're going to need help, a team, friendship, a support system, and that costs time, money, and resources. So yeah, you can make a lot of money, but where are you going? Like, that's not just for me. So anyways, do I have any other questions or is Ariel coming back up? Oh, I got one more. Two more, maybe.
Hi, my name is Kyrie. I'm from Edison, the senior. If you had to pick one game to play for the rest of your life, what game would it be?
Really? Why? Why would you ask me that? Tetris. Dun, 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 dun. Because there are games that put you into a state of flow. And when you're good at those games, they can be relaxing, they can make you feel productive. And there's a lot of psychological and mental health merits to games that immediately put you into a state of flow. All right.
Keep it going for CEO. Can we say CEO? Can we say CEO? Oh, Sugar Gamers. So sorry I left that out of her introduction. My goodness. Did you have fun with her? She has some great answers, right? I learned a lot yesterday when I met her, and I'm looking forward to learning more. We've got one more speaker. We've got how many more speakers? How many? Are y'all ready? 7, 12, 14, 2, 2, 3. Can I get 4 in the corner? All right. So, okay, we got 2 more apparently. I've got Rohit ready. Are you ready, Rohit? All right, we've got Rohit. No. Oh, we've got Nubia. Where's Nubia? You know what? We're gonna do it anyway. Let's run it live. Ready, Nubia, give it to me.
Yeah, I'm over here. I'm calling in from Chicago.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me? Okay. Let's play this.
Well, hits? Yeah, or just call me Roman. Thank you. Yeah. Sorry about that.
All right. Okay, so what you guys just saw is a video of the art that it takes that you'll see in some of our Zynga games. My name's Nubia, and I'm a vice president of art at Zynga. You guys might know us through some of our mobile games like CSR3, Words with Friends, Farmville, and countless other games that we have. I get to work with art. I get to work with artists from across the globe, and it's an exciting opportunity and exciting role. But mostly it's an exciting thing because I have always been an artist from the beginning, along with being a gamer, and that's what we're celebrating today. I get to work with all sorts of artists, concept artists, animators, tech artists, technical artists, VFX artists, 3D, anything in between. Honestly, there's just so many roles that the gaming requires in order to get all those visuals and all those beautiful graphics in front of you guys. And that's where I want to take sort of this conversation forward, because there is a role for just about anyone. You know, it's been referenced from some of our earlier speakers that you don't have to be technical to be in this industry. You don't have to be an artist to be in the industry either. But one thing that should connect all of us together is that sort of passion for storytelling and interactive entertainment that we can put in your hands, right? So I've been in the industry for about 12 years. I started off actually as an illustrator working on a book, on an interactive book. And I went into working with smaller companies that gave me so much knowledge. One thing that I want to point out in my career that I hope will help you guys too, is that you don't always have to go in and start working for like the biggest names, right? Sometimes, actually most of the time, these smaller businesses that you'll find locally will give you a lot more information and knowledge, especially early in your career, that will help guide you through the rest of it. Some background there, like for me, I started off at a at CG Cooking. That was one of my first sort of contractor jobs, but it gave me so much information around like, how do I upkeep a business, right? How do I, as an artist, continue to grow just because you're going to wear multiple hats and you're not just a concept artist. Sometimes you have to be an animator. You'll learn how to animate. You learn how to use different tools, different tech, and eventually have a really good understanding of the gaming pipeline and the industry that, like I said, later on will help aid you in the future as it did with me. I have been an art director. I have been a lead artist. I have been a concept artist. I've been a generalist and an illustrator. And I've gone through so many titles in between as well but I've always been, like I said, an artist, always willing to learn and envision. And that's one of the things that I think that we all have to continue pushing ourselves, even when it's boring. Even if maybe you're in it to be a concept artist, but you're having to learn maybe some work from a more technical standpoint. It all comes together in the end, and it will push you to the next level. That's one of the most humbling things in my industry and my career and my experience that I've gone through is that you'll never stop learning. I think that as much as I want to say I used to be in your seat, as a student learning, I'm still there because this industry changes so much and there are new tools that come in. Like really amazing, extraordinary tools. I don't know if you guys are in on the trend, but there's a lot going on with VR, right? There's a lot going on with AI. But no matter how easy some of these tools or cool some of these tools may be, it doesn't replace the traditional learning and knowledge gathering that you'll have to go through, that you have to attain as you go through your career. I think overall, like the gaming world is a very fun industry to be in. I love it. I've loved it since the beginning. And back in high school, it was the thing that I knew I was going to do. And I went about it through a pretty like sensible concept that I pretty much put in everything that I loved about what I love, just in general. I love storytelling, right? I love problem solving. I had always been a gamer. I was always inspired from the very beginning, along with my brother. We'd always like play Tekken and we'd play a bunch of these other games together. And there was also like this sort of healthy competition between him and I. But, I think that you do have to find sort of those things that really drive you, that keeps that fire inside of you going, that you can do for years on end, that you can go overnight doing, right? No sleep, no food. You just love what you do. And that's what I ended up doing. I ended up putting together these ideas, these passions, and it came down to gaming. The game was the thing, and I wanted to get in it. So I hope that through today, you guys will get a lot more exposure to what the industry is like, what gaming is like, and hopefully it's going to help you guys create a vision, find what drives you, because that's really important. And something that I don't often see, but I know it was really true to my development early from high school through college and now too, is having that healthy sense of competition with individuals around you, your friends. We're all going for the same goal, right? Getting in the same industry. Maybe we're all artists or engineers or something else, or designers. But there's always that one other person that you're like, I really like your art and I'm always inspired by you. So try to find that person or that circle that you guys will, that will help you sort of inspire you guys to the next level, because that's going to push you beyond what you think you're capable of.
Thank you, Nubia Mora. All right, folks, do we have any questions on the floor? Yes, we've got one over here.
My name is Malachi. I'm from Edison, and my question was, as an artist, coming up, how hard do you think it is, like, getting into the industry?
So I think it's all your portfolio, right? Early in my career, I'm in Chicago, right? The location here, we don't have like huge companies, or we didn't have huge companies back then, right? I think it's all about taking all those opportunities that will come up and being ready for them. We don't have control over what opportunities come in, who you meet. Sometimes it just happens, right? That you meet the right people at the right time. But what you have control over is how prepared you are for those opportunities. So as an artist, it can be hard because there's a lot of competition, right? There's a ton of people, a ton of artists, amazing artists online that you can get inspired by. And it's kind of up to you to push your skills to the next level. That's one thing, right? The skills in the portfolio that you put together is one thing. But being able to, in a way, sell your art and be adaptable. Games in the industry come from all sorts of genres. I mean, you can take a look at Zynga alone and Take-Two. We go from like really dark themes to really cutesy, words with friends, type of stuff. And there's so much in between that as an artist, part of the journey is you finding what your style is and being able to be a bit more flexible so that you can adapt quickly and actually just become a greater envisioner, because concept artists are, I think that's what we're talking about, concept art at least. We're actually kind of at the beginning of the art creation of the game development, where we put all these ideas together on paper and get the message across very early on. So it's important that you become flexible. It's not easy if you don't do the work. So do the work, get yourself, draw every day, try different styles, listen to different types of artists, and do. It comes from your heart. So.
Hey, we have a question over here.
Oh shit, my name is Gio. I'm with Monroe, and I just wanted to ask you how long it took to get where you was right now. Like you went through any like walls, like some shit like that. Oh, sorry.
Mm-hmm. Walls, yes. there are walls. I think very early on, as I was kind of alluding, my career, I didn't really know where I was gonna go. I went in for gaming, right? I got a bachelor's degree in game art and design, but I started with a book. And I'm like, well, I gotta start somewhere, right? Something that's gonna give me that knowledge, that thing to put on my resume, but also something else that I can show people, like what I've done and sort of, it was close enough to games. And so it's been 12 years, my total career span from when I graduated college to now. And I'm now a vice president of art, which has taken me into a whole new sort of facet of the art development in games. It's more business oriented, but I think in those 12 years, my focus has been art and games, and how can I facilitate storytelling. And my success has really came down to that. Was I able to problem solve for other people visually when it came to these storylines and these like game mechanics and the UX and the UI of the games? Can our players, take a look at this and see what the message is in 5 seconds? There's a lot of nuances into that. but I want to say that it was the focus, and that was actually kind of one of the walls that I hit, was that when it came to Chicago, we had a different understanding of what games were here. And so I had to take any opportunity that I could to get me sort of closer to games and eventually get in the door.
Thank you so much. Another round of applause for Vice President of Art at Zynga, Nubia Mora.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Excellent answers. Again, Vice President of Art. Think about it. All right now. This time for real, we've got one more speaker. This time for real. For real. All right. All right, we've got Principal Game Designer at People Fun, Rohit Krasta. Put your hands together for him.
What's up? Hey, so I know y'all been sitting for a while, so I'll make this real quick. So designing for humans, I got an applause for that. Thanks. My name's Ro. I'm a game designer, and I work at a company called People Fun. Here's some of the games that I worked on. It's a lot of casual stuff, a lot of stuff for mobile, but a nice mix of things. I'm a principal game designer, it's a fancy word for game designer, at a company called People Fun. We're best known for a game called Wordscapes. Wordscapes, oh, okay, nice. So Wordscapes is a casual word game where you get to swipe letters to form words and solve crossword puzzles. It's fun, it's very relaxing. If you have a phone, you can actually download and play it right now. It's free to play. A lot of fun, very proud of it. Wordscapes has over 10 million people playing, and there's players of all kinds, all races, ages, genders. We're very proud of our very broad and diverse. And that's what we mean by casual games, is that we're trying to make games for everyone, for the broad audience. And that's actually something we take a lot of pride in. And what I really wanted to talk about today was some of the reasons people play. I wanted to show some quotes from our players. On the top left, this is a huge stress reliever for me. My husband passed away, and he used to love to play this. On the right, this player, Ari, said, I just spent an hour playing Wordscapes with my mom on FaceTime. I love the relationship we've built. And on the bottom, I'm recovering from a brain tumor, and I was recommended your word game to help with my rehabilitation. Your puzzles strengthened my thought process. I enjoy being rewarded for my efforts. So you might think that, these games are just to relax, kind of like a side thing, not all that big of a deal. But for some people, it has a really, really big impact. For some people, it's their way of relaxing when they're really stressed, or rehabilitation, or even building relationships. We just had someone from Zynga, and that's a lot of social games about connecting people together. And this is what I wanted to talk about today. This is the focus, is one takeaway: game design is about people. You might think it's about games. It's not about games. It's about the people. Now, what do I mean by that? See, we're not designing games. When you're a designer, the game is just a means to an end. I'm designing a game that you play with your hands, and then things happen, and it goes into your brain, and you get it through your eyes, through your ears, through all your senses, and then you have an experience in your head. And that is actually the real goal of a designer. We're designing the experience inside of your head, the emotions you're having. Are you feeling sad, happy, excited, joyful? Are you anticipating that next jump in Mario, right? Are you lining up the shot in Call of Duty? Whatever you're doing, we're trying to look towards that experience and create an interest curve over time, keep you engaged. That is our goal. We're focused on the experience in your head. But to do that, and it's very clear, very important to note this, as a designer, I'm not my audience. When we design for a broad audience, especially for Wordscapes, I'm very different than most of our players. Most of our players are actually over 50 years old. We have a lot of retired players, but we span all ages. And I'm not going to pretend like they're all like me, because they're different. I'm just one person, and everyone's different. So to learn about our players, we have to research. On the left here, there's a graph. If we just sent out a survey, we had over 300,000 people fill out the survey in our game. And it gave us all this interesting information. You can see this graph about, what do people value in our game? What are they coming to our game for? What's the part that matters to them, that resonates with them? In the middle, it's a playtest of another one of our games, actually, a solitaire game. And it's actually a video recording snapshot of the player playing the game. And they sent the recording to us. And the system actually tracks all of their inputs. That big red circle that looks so weird in the middle, that's actually tracking the person's touch at that moment. So we get to see exactly how the player is interacting, even though we're not in the same room with them. We see how they're interacting with the cards. We get to see what they're doing and where they're getting confused. And so much of casual games is making the game more accessible, making it easier for people to get into play, to get to the fun, right? And on the right is a simple example. Sometimes we just ask, right? We post it on Facebook, what's your daily gift strategy? And it might seem really simple, like, oh, it's daily gift. I get a daily gift. I open it up, I get a present. Great. But people had all kinds of different answers. Some people are very superstitious. Some people say, on a sunny day, I go for the yellow box, right? Some people, they build in all these different kinds of reasons for what they do, even when it might seem like a really simple thing. So we learned more about our players just by asking them, right? So this is a good example of how by us learning more about our audience, we actually get to make a better game for them. We get design, because remember, like I said, not designing the game, we're designing the experience. So it's a lot of work, but it's all worth it. I find it so I've been doing this for 12 years. It's so rewarding to bring joy and relaxation to people. Our players inspire me to be better every single day and to do my absolute best work because I'm doing it for them, right? And if you think you might enjoy crafting experiences, if you think you might enjoy learning about people, getting to know them, researching them, watching them do play tests, and then making the experience better and better, and you love working with people, and maybe you're a little bit of a party host, maybe you like to host, and you like to entertain people, you like to make other people have fun, then maybe game design might be for you. And that's my main message for today. Thank you. I got any questions?
The question right here. Can you tell us your name and the school that you're with?
I'm Jalen and I'm from Doug, and we were wondering what your biggest career achievement was.
Oh, my biggest career achievement? I mean, probably Wordscapes itself, working on Wordscapes and releasing a new feature and finding everyone be real happy about it. I mean, there's nothing much better than that. Although sometimes, like those personal quotes, sometimes it's not the number of people or the success, it's just one person having a really strong reaction in a positive way. Sometimes that's what gets you. I don't know where you are, but good question. Oh, okay.
My name's James. My name's James. I'm 10th grader from East. I was just wondering, what was your salary like for Wordscapes?
I mean, it varies based on your role and how much you move up. So it ranges, just kind of like what Keisha said before, 0 to 300 is pretty accurate depending on your level and your role. But you can move up. When you start, you might be lower, but if you work real hard, you can move your way up the ladder.
Thank you. Another round of applause for Rohit Krasta, principal game designer at People Fun. All right, folks. I've got something for you. But before I give it to you, I want you folks to give a round of applause to all the folks that came here to inspire you. It's that time of the day. We've got a wonderful game for you. Now, all of our speakers have used one word in their speeches. So we are going to call out a few numbers, see who's going to tell us what that word was. All right. Coming to the stage, we've got D112. Look at your seats. Look at your seats. Are you D112? D112. D. Kathy's on row D here. Kathy and Jacob are on row D. 112. Oh, we've got an educator. Now we're gonna try again. We got to find a kid. Got to find a kid. All right, let's try. We've got to hold on. We got to. Oh, what's going on? Oh, what are we doing?
Let's pick the kids from Edison here.
Okay.
Okay, here you go.
All right, so I need you to pick 2 consonants and 2 vowels. Give it to me. Remember, we have one word that all our speakers have said, so I need you to pick 2 consonants, 2 vowels. Let's see if you can guess what that word is. Ready?
A.
Do we have an A? Oh, no A. Give me another vowel or consonant.
I.
I. Oh, we've got 2. We've got 2. Give me 2 more letters. Give me 2 more letters. 2 consonants.
I'm gonna go for the answer.
Oh, guess the answer.
Inspired.
Oh, is that the word? Let's see. Let's see. Oh, my goodness. My goodness. Player, what's your name?
Jamel.
Jamel. Give it up for Jamel. Again, Roy Contreras making that possible. Now, the reason we gave that switch away is because when Roy Contreras was about your age, he went to see some speakers and he saw Bill Gates. Bill Gates gave him a gift, and that's what got him in the game. And I'm hoping that this will get our friend in the game now. Are you ready for the rest of the day? I think you're ready. I think you're ready. Give yourselves a round of applause for being such a good audience. All right, I need you to look to your chaperones. They have all the answers. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll probably see most of you again. Give me that music. Yes. I said you're gonna get on stage. Come on down, buddy. Come on down. Again, your chaperones have your schedules. Can I get light? Okay. Thanks, my guy. Enjoy yourself.